All right, hey, what's up, guys? Coach Mac, Play Fast Football. Today we're going to do a little bit of a video on playing three high stuff with quarters coverage. I'm going to go through why I think we are going to start experimenting with it a little bit and talk about some of the things that we've been doing. All right, make sure you check out some of our partners' dome hats. It's one of my dome hats at the school I'm currently at. Snapback, completely customizable. If you want to customize your own hat, make sure you check out dome hats. They're great for athletics, businesses. They do hats for a bunch of different occasions, so make sure you check them out. Baker Sporting Goods company we use for our coaches gear. Our uniforms are distributed through them. Anytime we're going to do any fan gear or spirit packs for our kids, we use Baker Sports, so check them out. Just Play Football, digital software bringing your program to the next level. I use it when I want to do anything for a webinar. If I want to, or if I am speaking at a clinic, it's always going to be the tool and the software that I use to draw and diagram plays. GameStrat sideline replay system we use. I've been using it for 3 years now. Absolutely love it. Great customer service. Very few technology or software issues with the product, so I highly recommend GameStrat. DifferenceUSA, the ultimate striking machine. Get thousands of reps without needing a partner, in season, off season. HighandTight ball security training aid. You have to have the ball in the proper position, wrist above elbow, proper points of pressure to hear the beep. If you don't hear the beep, you're doing something wrong. If you hear the beep, you know that that's where the ball is supposed to be, so it builds that muscle memory for your skilled players. StandPerfect, a training aid that we use in the off season with our younger kids when they're coming in from 8th grade to 9th grade. And in the spring, we'll use it for stances, O-linemen, D-linemen, sometimes receivers. You put them down where you want them. You get the kids in the stance. You don't have to talk about 6-inch, 4-inch heel toe stagger, split your feet this far, put the back foot back that far. You put them down exactly where you want them. They put their feet in. You're hoping to build that muscle memory for that perfect, consistent stance. Good for baseball, softball, golf, football. It's got tons of different uses, so make sure you check out StandPerfect. So over the last probably 6 to 7 months, been doing a bunch of 3 high videos. We played the 3 high structure this year. We've played it actually from 3 down tight front, and then we've actually played it a little bit from mint front with sending a 4th rusher. So we've done it from both. Actually really like the structure. I like how it can get us lined up to formations fairly easily, especially some 3x1 sets or some tray sets or some Y offsets where instead of in that old split safety or split field, however you want to look at it, coverage where you got to figure out what to do with that backside safety so that your Mike doesn't have to run with 3 vertical. We can always put our middle safety on that 3. He's got 3 vertical. If 3 is out or in the blocking scheme, then we can basically play as a Mike linebacker. We can fit into the run, or we can be in coverage where we belong. So it's helped us simplify some things with formations. It helped with some checks to formations, to where some formations, whether they were 2 back and the possibility of a sniffer vertical, or again that sniffer moving out to a wide position and being off, and he can go vertical. It's kind of helped us defend a lot of those sets, so we like it a bunch. We've had some issues on defense this year, but they've been more technical, technique, fundamentals, fitting gaps, fitting runs, and then getting people on the ground on quick screens and some other things. So it hasn't necessarily been the 3 high structure that has been the issue. It's been more of a technical fundamental issue, and then we're not very big on defense, so we have trouble stopping a run that's right at us sometimes because we're a little bit light at all of our positions. But one of the things I've been looking at is we've been struggling. We normally play, for most of you that have watched the channel for a while, you know that we like to play 2 read, all right, 2 open sets. That's usually our standard. That's our base. It's part of our quarters toolbox. It's how we adjust. One of the issues we've been having is with now screens, stand-up screens, some bubble screens, and then some runs to the perimeter. And one of the things that I just started looking at was, because of the position of the middle safety, all right, if the splits are good enough for us to do so, and they're not, you know, exotic or real wide, all right, if the 2 has a decent enough split where we can play the nickel outside and play quarters coverage, now what will end up happening is we'll get a little bit more body presence. We'll get outside leverage on 2 to kind of maybe deny the bubble screen by alignment. We'll get a little bit more body presence under 1 or on quick screens to 1. We'll now play 1 from a off man position, All right, so now stand-up screens to 1. We got a man player triggering, and we got somebody that's outside of 2 that should not be blocked with leverage anymore because he's not inside. All right, and then we don't have to worry as much about crack replace. Okay, we can set the edge on outside runs, and if we're getting jet sweep, speed option, or balls that are going to the perimeter, we can set the edge with the nickel, and then we can run the alley with the middle safety and the free safety. And the middle safety is always in more of a position to be an alley runner anyways. So if the middle safety is going to be an alley runner, all right, and we're going to, when we were playing, you know, our 2 read stuff, if we were getting crack schemes, all right, where they were cracking the nickel and trying to get the ball to the perimeter, well, now it's a crack replace deal where the free safety has to come down and replace the crack, and the ball's out there on the perimeter. Whereas in the quarter structure, you can set the edge a little bit different, and again, change the leverage of the nickel, give it a little bit of body presence underneath number 1, take away the angle, all right, or the leverage on the bubble, and now the free safety, all right, can fit as well, because most teams, if you set the nickel up there aggressively 3 yards outside the number 2, if they are going to run the ball or run the ball to the perimeter, he's going to block the nickel right now. When he does so, the nickel sets the edge and the free safety is free. All right, if this kid wants to release inside and vertical, well, then the free safety plays it man, and the nickel is now a flat player. Okay. One of the adjustments that you have to work on, though, is now if you get a fast 3, now your middle safety, who you've in palms and 2 read, we've constantly been telling him, hey, if 3's to the flat, the nickel takes 3. He's the swing deep a 3 player. Now if the nickel takes 3, you've got to find the new 3 coming inside. Well, now what happens in a quarters deal is the nickel actually has the wheel of 2. The free safety has 2 in and up. All right, so now if you got a fast 3, the middle safety has to learn how to play 3 through. So the middle safety, like a Mike linebacker in quarters, has to learn how to play 3 through. If 2 is out, he must continue on to 3 through. If 2 is back in, now the nickel can play 3 to the flat because 2 didn't release to the flat. So you got to remember, if you got any type of curl or post wheel deals, the nickel's going to carry the wheel, so you have nobody in the flat. So now the middle safety would take the place of a Mike linebacker in quarters coverage, and he would have to play 3 through. Okay, so those are the things, you know, the slight nuances that you got to work on in coverage. Is that's different than palms because the nickel is not the swing deep player of 3 automatically, because if the nickel in read coverage, all right, quarters coverage for us, if the nickel were to take 3 and 2 goes on the wheel, now you would have to trade the wheel and the route of number 1 between the corner and the free safety, and that's not how we teach quarters coverage. All right, quarters coverage for us is the nickel outside. He's got all the outside routes at 2. He's swing deep at 2. So now if he's swing deep at 2 and you get wheeled by 2, 3 in the flat, the middle safety has to replace like the Mike would, all right, and similar to Ripley's match where the Mike's got to play 3 through if you get a 2 to the flat. All right, sometimes if you get a fast 3, you can turn that into a zone concept, where if you got a fast 3, you could go ahead and say, hey, you're going to be curl flat, you're going to come down and play hook curl, and then you could zone off those guys. But in a true quarters deal for us, and again, what we try to do is we're trying to get to the point where we make less and less adjustments, especially on the fly, because that's where we tend to blow coverages. So for us, we got to understand 3 to the flat in quarters. All right, middle safety's got to come down. If 2 is out, he's got to push the 3 through. If 2 comes back inside, then he can settle on 2 inside. If 2's inside, the free safety's going to get a double on 1. If 2's on the wheel, the free safety's going to get a double on 1. So when you play quarters coverage, the old school way that we play it, if 2 is out or in, your free safety's going to get a posted curl, all right, double on the number 1 receiver, which we also like. All right, they're going to get the nickel on the wheel, so you have to have a nickel that can play wheels. Okay, but you have to understand how to handle that because it's different than playing your true 2 read. So you've got to work on that, you've got to set it up and be able to do those things. We used to be able to play 2 read and palms, 2 read and quarters coverage when we had returning players, a lot of experience. This year with less experience, it's hard for us to carry both. So usually we go into game plan saying, hey, we're going to carry one or the other, all right? And now we started off with mostly palms, all right? And now we're going to go and play a little bit more quarters, unless they give us a real wide exotic split. So if they give us either a wide stack or they give us a 2 real wide and a 1 real wide, then what we'll do is we'll bump the nickel back down into the box, all right, or just outside the box. We'll bump the nickel there. We'll go ahead and play man on the outside. So we'll play press man, catch man, and then the middle safety is still free to play off of 3. So now underneath it's the same rules as for us, Miami, and our underneath players on Miami basically play palms rules. So 3 wide would be the nickel going to 3 wide, and now we can take the middle safety and we can spin them down and gain an extra player in the hook curl, maybe help underneath if we're getting anything shallow or crossers from 1 and 2. So the splits will dictate whether or not we play quarters. All right, but if we're getting standard splits, all right, the more I started looking at what's hurting us, the more I started thinking that if the middle safety's in position to be an alley player, we can set the nickel outside, the free safety inside, and play quarters coverage out there. All right, and now when you play quarters coverage to a 2 removed, what you got to worry about is it's a long way to go, all right, to that alley, that extra support player, that extra player in the run fit. If the free safety has 2 vertical, it's awfully tough for him to play 2 vertical and fit that alley on runs. Well, now when you gain the middle safety's the guy that can fit the alley, all right, he's running inside out. If he gets a 3 fast or full flow by the 3, he's going to be downhill in that alley right now, so he can fit the alley better in a quarters deal probably than he can if you're getting blocked down and the ball's going to the perimeter. All right, it's an easier run for him to fit tighter if you're going to play with outside leverage and turn the ball back into him. All right, it's an easier fit for him to be in the alley. And then you got to remember, in this structure for us, we don't count the mic in any of the coverages. This is the guy that has 3 vert, so the mic doesn't have to worry about playing coverages. We can still play 3-on-2 on the backside. Take the mic out. The mic can be a spy. He can be a late add-on. He can be whatever you want him to be within your pass rush game because you don't need him in the coverage. Okay, so what it is it's about finding the things that are hurting you, still playing the same structure of what you're playing, so nothing is brand new to the kids. Finding the things that are hurting you and then trying to come up with ways to adjust how you can get the ball where you want it. So if we're getting hurt with bubbles and stand-ups to number 1, by going to quarters coverage, we get outside leverage on 2. That's going to discourage the bubble. All right, 2 is outside, nickel's outside of 2, so if they throw stand-up to 1, we should be in a good position. We're off man, we're in a good position there. The only thing we still got to worry about that you get beat by all the time, stand up 1, 2 on the wheel. We got to understand if 2 is out, nickel's got to be able to buy 2 out, stand up by 1, the corner plays the stand up of 1, and then we should have, with 2 out, if it was some type of fast screen and they do that, you should have the free safety working post-dig curl. When he sees stand-up screen there, he's going to help fit the alley as well, so that if you get that route and the corner triggers, the nickel's got to carry the 2 on the wheel. All right, so by playing that outside leverage, you're going to discourage the bubble, hopefully discourage some of those throws to number 1. If they're a team that's throwing quick game, you get some body help for the number 1 playing off man with the nickel outside. You get some body presence if it's quick game and he can get out underneath number 1. Okay, so all the things that can help you with leverage, change the leverage, change the coverage a little bit. So it's one of the things that we're looking at out of our 3 high deal, especially the 2 removed, okay, is playing, all right, more of a quarter structure. And even if we get 2 back, we're okay. All right, we feel like we're okay doing it. Even if we get 2 back, we know the ball is probably going to be on the edge. We know we got a little bit of a soft edge if we're playing a tight front. All right, but we also know that we're going to set an edge. So we also understand that we're going to set an edge so that if we were to get a set like this and we're playing tight front 4 eyes and we got the will and the mic in the box, if we just bump the will and the mic slightly to that set, even if we have the nickel sitting outside, corner there, free safety there, the middle safety is going to fit on 3. All right, and now what will end up happening, okay, is if you get gap schemes or the power deal, what you know is you're going to get that down block. You're hoping that if the 4-eye can make an issue here, they have to go back and down and get all solos. So now you're going to gain mic, middle safety, will, you're going to gain 3 second level players, and then if they block out on the nickel, you'll also gain a 4th second level player in a quarters deal. If the 2 is up and in, now you'll gain the nickel as a box player, turn and runs back inside. So we know that the edge is a little bit soft here, but we also know that in quarters, with him outside, we know that the ball is going to get to that alley. So now that we can understand, if we can eat up blocks with the tight front, we can get guys running to the alley. The question in high school will always be, can your 2nd or 3rd level players make tackles in space? Can you get them to read and understand where they need to fit? Can you get them to understand where they need to be? All right, but with the tight front, we know the ball should be working its way to the C gap or to the edge, because the B gap player hopefully can hold the point in the B gap and be where he belongs in the B gap. So now you've got to be confident with 2nd level players, your Mike and your Will, if they're good players, all right, or if your backside 4 eyes a dude, they're not going to hinge him with the tackle. They're going to have to go with 3 solo back blocks, especially from the Twins Open personnel group, no tight end. They're going to have to go with 3 solo back or down blocks, and now your Will and your Mike are going to be free to run, and your middle safety is playing off of 3, so when 3 leads or 3 goes counter, he becomes a cutback player. If 3 leads front side, he's running the alley right now. So you'll get 2nd level players, and you should be able to get an extra player there. All right, and right now the way we would play it is the Mike would spill to the middle safety or the nickel out wide. The nickel's not really counted in the fit here because he's so far, so it would be more of the middle safety and the free safety running the alley. Mike would spill, so if the sniffer came up with nobody to block, the Mike should blow up the sniffer inside out, and now the Will is free to run, and then the middle safety's free to run. So even if you didn't gain the free safety in quarters, if the Mike spills the fullback and makes the guard go a path wider, you're going to gain the middle safety and the Will, because if they have to back block every single 4-eye nose, backside 4-eye, and that's where the deal is with the backside 4-eye. He's got to be a good enough dude that they can't hinge him with the tackle. If they're going to run gap schemes, they've got to block back on that 4-eye, and that's where you'll make a lot of your money, is with the 4-eye causing havoc on the back schemes, on the gap schemes, sorry, which will make them go back with the center, which means they got to go down with the guard, down with the tackle, and now you've eliminated double teams. You got all solo blocks. So something we're looking at with our 3-high coverage. I love the 3-high structure. Would certainly love to look at staying in it more and more as we go into next year. We've got 2 games left. Probably won't make the playoffs, but with our personnel, I like it. I like what it does formationally for me. I like how it eases some of the checks in 3x1 and tray and some other things for us. We just haven't done a very good job playing it. And I think it's 1, it's new. Number 2, we haven't done a great job coaching it. And number 3, we don't have the body types up front to hold up in the run game. And then on the perimeter, we've had some poor tackling on screens and now screens. So this slight change right there will hopefully discourage some of the quick screens. You'll probably end up getting a lot of quick throws to 2 inside hitches or stick or things like that, because you're now outside leverage. So we may have to tighten the free safety down a little bit and play a little bit tighter on the number 2. But we're also going to have to mess around and play some man coverage out there and bump the nickel back in the box. So now we can get tighter coverage to 2. So you always have to have coverage adjustments. You always have to have answers. Got to be able to play the answers, though. That's the big deal. Sometimes I know for myself, I get so caught up in what the answers are that I don't do a good enough job making sure we can play the answers. So I have the answers on paper, I have the answers on a call sheet or in a game plan, but if we don't do a good enough job practicing it, the kids can't play the answer, so it's really not an answer. So anything on paper or on a whiteboard that looks good as a scheme, if the kids can't play it and execute, it's not a good answer, it's just a good answer on paper. So as a coordinator, you always want to have all the answers in the toolbox or all the tools in the toolbox so you can help your kids out when you're getting beat by certain things, whether it's numbers, leverage, whatever it may be. You can make a change to help your kids out. That's the job of a coach, that's the job of a coordinator. But remember, answers are only answers if you can play them. So hopefully this video helps you guys. Again, if there's anybody out there playing at 3-high stuff or playing it with quarters or doing a better job than we are, leave a comment. Send me a message. I'd always like to hear about it. Remember, if you're not a subscriber, click that subscribe button. If you turn your notifications on, you'll know every time we do a video like this or we go on YouTube Live. And make sure you leave a thumbs up or a thumbs down. You like the comment, you don't like the content, you don't like the content. Leave a comment. Anything that's football related, I'm going to respond to. positive or negative. It's your opinion. You have the right to leave a comment with your opinion on there. If it's something that's clickbait, trying to get somebody else to go to a site or do something else, and I'm not going to reply to that. But if it's football, I'll always try to reply. So hopefully you guys are finishing your season, staying safe. If you made the playoffs or you have a chance to make the playoffs, good luck to you. Good luck to you moving forward. If not, good luck to you getting ready to start your off season. And the off season is that time where we really start cranking up the learning with clinics and going to other people and going to other practices of playoff teams and trying to kind of get ourselves better. You know, you don't stay the same, you get better or you get worse. So if you didn't make the playoffs, obviously you need to make some improvements. Maybe you're a young team that just needs to play better and get better in the weight room. Whatever that deal may be, the off season is the time to do that. So I really love the off season, especially for YouTube and Patreon and other things and clinics. Trying to get the PlayFast clinic up and running again when we know it can be full capacity. Don't know if we can get the same venue in the spring or the summer because that's a wedding venue. So if we do it in the spring or the summer of 2022, we may need a different venue, but it's something I'll definitely look at. So again, I appreciate everything you guys do for PlayFast. All right, everything you guys do for me in this channel. Remember, you won't play well until you play fast, and I will see you next time.